Hi. Some guy. I ain't shit. Um, just here playing some Diablo 4. Thinking about, this girl that I tried to date that didn't want to date me. And, the more I have to consider why she didn't want to date me and shit, the more I, can't help but, think that I ain't shit. Um, and yeah, even if I were to go make something of myself or whatnot, I still wouldn't be shit in her eyes, and it wouldn't matter. So I'm feeling pretty down about that. It's not making me feel pretty good. Um, it's kind of drowning my sorrow, so to speak. Um, just sitting here, feeling like, fuck, what's the point? And yeah, I thought I'd make this video because I guess I need therapy or something, but I haven't gone to go get it, nor will I probably ever. So instead, I'm just gonna talk to the camera and just put my business out into the world for no good reason other than I don't necessarily craving attention or anything like that. I just don't have any ambition to do anything anymore. And I keep being told that I have wisdom or these gifts that could possibly help other people, and I'm not really sure how true that is. But I mean, I suppose that I could give it a shot. I'm not doing anything else in my time, so this is basically just me introducing myself to I'm nobody. I'm like 40. Um, this is the same room that I grew up in. Um, I've been in here since I was 8, and I'm like 40 now, so like 30 years. I mean, some people should be so lucky as to have a stable place to live for 30 years, regardless of whether or not I'm living at my parents' house. Bought this 4K TV, this Xbox Series X, this desk and this chair. Um, as a direct result of basically being rejected by that chick, because I was like, fuck, I need something to do. I need some way to occupy my time and just kind of think my way through this. I bought this notebook. I started writing in it. I'm not that good, in my opinion. But sometimes I come up with stuff that I'm like, oh man, this could change the world. Or, oh man, this tune feels like it's just so catchy. But then, I listen to it enough times. This is actually garbage. I mean, just shelve this shit. And yeah, just some normal random guy. Um, I don't have, like I said, I don't have any kids, and at this point, I don't think I want to have any because I'm like 40, and I mean, say I have a kid like tomorrow. You know what I mean? Imagine a 50-year-old with a 10-year-old. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like all the thoughts I had about being like a father, like the kind of father I'd want to be. I mean, I never considered being an old father. You know what I mean? Kind of have to be in that position like right now, and like being a stepfather is just like fuck, man. Like, bro, you mean to tell me that like I have this inclination to actually like want to be there for a child and shit like that, but now I'm gonna go take care of like somebody else who decide to have a child and then just leave, like that has no ambition to even be a father or some bullshit. It's just like, what is this? What am I even doing here? Like, you know what? Something that girl said to me. She said, she was not for me or something like that, or yeah, I interpreted it as that is this shit is not for me. You know what I mean? The reason it never worked out is because it wasn't for me. I mean, I have this ex calling me all the time now. It's just like, bitch, didn't you go and have like a kid with somebody else and shit like that? When we tried to take care of the kid and shit like that, and you're still just being like an idiot, and now you're coming back. Like, what the fuck are you coming back for? Like, go away. You know what I mean? You obviously like showed bare inclination to go out there and do whatever you wanted to do before. So why don't you go do that again? You know, like I would rather be dead tomorrow than ever be with your ass again. The fuck you think this is? You got me fucked up. You know. Anyways, um, today's Sunday. Usually I go for a run. I've been slacking. Usually I would have done it by now, but the last 2 weeks I've been to the track. There's this lady there running, with her daughter watching. Just like, oh god, I've been doing this long enough that if people see you in passing, they try to like be in the same area. It's just like, yo, like I, I have so much to offer, and it's just like getting such the short end of the stick is just like I'd rather like throw it in the fucking trash than fucking use it, man. Like for real. Like who in God's name made so many incompetent, incorrigible nincompoops in charge of I don't know, like reality. Cause this is messed up, man. You know what? It was a long time ago. I still remember this day. A long time ago, I took this IQ test to let you know if you're gifted or not. And like I just remember not really taking it that seriously and shit like that. And just being so understimulated, and it never really, because I'm a guy, like I don't really like stop to consider my feelings too much, but at some point it got to a point where I'm just like, man, I am so understimulated and shit like that. Like the shit that they're teaching me, I already learned it. Like, you know what I mean? Like for like a long time ago, like, and like everyone else is still struggling to catch up and shit. It's like, where are we taking this? Like, I'm just daydreaming all the time. Like, I'm not focusing any of this like massive brain power that I like. It's crazy. But the things that are happening in the world now is just like it almost seems like, you know what, it was probably better off I just stayed in this room and didn't try to do anything with it, because honestly this world's nuts, you know. And the minute there's something to be exploited for some kind of gain and shit, like they're taking advantage of it. There's no consideration of the long-term ramifications of anything anymore. It's all just like this short-term profit. Every year it's just like, oh, like profit, 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 profit. Oh, this grew, this grew. Oh, record this, record that, and shit. Like what the fuck is this? Like this is nonsense. Somebody's fudging the numbers, obviously. You know what I mean? Somebody's obviously lying to make this stuff make it seem better than it is. Like what? Why can't you just take a loss? Like what's wrong with taking a loss? Like sometimes you need to take steps backwards in order to take steps forward. It seems like it's always steps forward. It's never any steps backwards. And this is like, where are we going? How on what kind of sure footing are we really think that we're on when there is no consideration? You know what I mean? For how this is going to affect like everybody. You know, how can it just be about you and the individual? Like how does that make any sense? There's too many of us to have this pervasive kind of ideology not like destroy all of us, man. Like it's almost like when you're working out. Like when you first start working out, like you can do a lot of work. You can get away with not doing it correctly because you are not strong enough to do any real damage to yourself. But as time progresses and stuff like that, and like even despite yourself, sometimes you start to get stronger and stuff like that. All of a sudden, like it becomes more and more necessary for you to know exactly what you're doing, because you're now strong enough that, like, if you don't, like, you could do serious long-term damage to yourself. And it's just like, okay, at one point when they came out with all these technologies that only few people could afford and shit like that, okay, it's not the greatest for the environment. But as everyone sees the convenience that it provides, and the productivity that it adds to one's life and stuff like that, obviously everyone's gonna want in on it. And then the problem that was only being um uh, implicate and inferred upon by fewer people is now being done multiplicatively by a multiplicable number of people. So the problem exponentially grows to out of control, and then you expect to put the genie back in the bottle. Like, there's this thing where all of a sudden they want to rewrite how we've been telling our stories, how we've been presenting the narrative of the story of the human. You know what I mean? Like the hero's journey, um, like old Greek mythology and stuff like that. Instead of just finding new ways to retell old tales, we want to now take bullshit ideology that has never proven to stand the test of time and force it in and imprint it over top of things that have always worked, and then call it the new norm. Like, what is that? That's just garbage. It's just straight effing garbage. You know what I mean? Like, the reason that those initial stories have such big meaning, such deep meaning, why it goes so deep, why it touches the soul when you do it properly, is because it's a fundamental truth of the circumstances that has brought every human being that exists today into fruition as they are now. You know? So it's like, to go and try to rewrite a history that never existed. How can anybody connect with that? And then the people who do is just like, you're being disingenuous for the sake of being disingenuous. You will never be happy that way, ever. You know what I mean? And it's just gonna bring everybody else down because you're wondering why nobody wants to go along with something that doesn't make any sense. It's crazy. It's really crazy, and I wish it would all stop. But you know, I also think to myself that, hey, if I had like a girl, my own family and shit like that, and I could just like stick my head in the sand of that and ignore everything that was going on, I would. So maybe I'm just, this is just sour grapes, and everything that I'm saying, even if it seems like it could make sense, if you look at it a certain way, is just don't even listen to me. I don't.